Andy, look, I want to thank you for being on this podcast. I've seen you a couple of times. No, actually, the first time I saw you was when I took the picture for you. When I really noticed you, but you probably came in with your mask and I didn't notice, or something. Was I ever standing out there in front when you?
I don't remember seeing your face. I don't recall,
Okay.
man. Yeah.
Right.
Except I saw your face on the wall, of course.
Oh, did you? You knew me from there?
Just
down the other
over
side.
there. When I was looking at the past presidents, yeah.
Recently, or after I took the picture, or did you before that?
No. So I joined I joined the 29th of December 2016. I moved to Tokyo the 28th of December 2016. So the next day I joined.
Okay.
And then, of course, it was the year-end holiday. So I was back in, I think, on the 4th of January.
Okay.
And because I wanted a network to plug into when I moved to Tokyo from Osaka.
Right.
So I had everything organized. I wanted like a bunch of people to know, right? Or at least a place where I could feel that I had some friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at the wall there. I remember looking around the whole place, everything on all the walls. And I was looking at the past presidents and I was like, wow, getting a real sense of the history for this place.
And you said, there's one black guy.
I may have. There's something in my mind, obviously.
I know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when I looked at the wall, I remember coming here in the 70s. When I came to Japan in 74, I came in the 70s, and I looked up there, and I didn't see anyone black, because that's something that became very, very important to me. And I looked up there, and I said, one day I'll be half joking. One day I'm going to be the first black president this club has had. And lo and behold, I got to open this facility. This $300 million facility.
Yeah.
Which I couldn't have planned in my best dream, nowhere in the world.
Are your parents still around?
My mother is.
So she got to see that, right?
She got to see that.
Yeah.
She did.
Fantastic.
And my father, I wish he lived long enough to see Obama, us get our first black president.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been something for him. But he lived a good life. I have no complaints. So tell me, what I don't know. I don't want to ask you what first brought you here. What I want to ask you is, where were you born?
Birmingham, England, just a suburb outside called Sutton Coldfield.
Okay. And how old are you now?
37.
37.
I've been here 15, coming up 16 years. So I came straight after graduating.
Now, I know you were close with your mom. How many siblings do you have, if you have any?
It's just me.
See, and they read to you a lot, didn't they? Did they have you late?
Yeah, every night.
Is your father still alive?
Yeah.
Are you really close with your parents?
I call them once every couple of weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Are you close to your dad?
Yeah, I chat with him. Yeah.
Right. You said, wait. You said, yeah, like you do. Like, well, we're not really close, but we talk.
Like, yeah, we're as close as we ever have been.
Okay.
But like, we don't go really deep into things. I don't know. I think it's a typical parent-son relationship, I would say.
Okay.
I'd say it's a good relationship. They're good parents.
Good
Great
respect,
parents.
everything.
Oh, I feel absolutely blessed.
Yes.
They're fantastic people. Very
That's
loving.
good.
Always have been. Always been very encouraging. Anything I wanted to try or do, they've always encouraged me to do it. I've quit many things many times, but they've always been supportive, and I really appreciate that. So whatever I wanted to do,
do you have
they've been okay.
Well, how old were they when they had you? Were they young, older?
Dad, I think he was 40. And Mum was, I won't say because you never reveal a woman's age.
That's right.
Yeah.
You got that right. You got that right. Smart move. She's going to appreciate that too when she sees this. Smart move. Let me ask you this. So, growing up, did you have real close friends or any like cousins and stuff? Did you have a big extended family, or was it just you?
Some cousins, but they lived further away. I was someone who had a few close friends, not necessarily in, I didn't really have a big group that I would always hang out with all the time. It was more like individual friends.
So you could be anywhere. You could be with.
I could be anywhere, but because of that, because I didn't have a group that I would default to, like to go there, go play football with them, go do lunch with them. You know, like many of my other kids at school, they would have their group of like 5, 6, 7, 10. They would always hang out with. I never had that. So school could
Did you ever want that?
School could be a bit of a lonely place. There were days when there were times when I was quite lonely.
No, what are you talking about? You're talking about elementary, you're talking about, and these were private schools?
Public schools.
Wait, when you say, in English, see, that's why I'm asking. I was doing it your way first. Now we're getting confused.
Yeah.
Public in America means it's actually public. Anyone can go to it. In England, it means it's private.
I'm speaking for you.
Okay, so I was speaking for you.
Yeah.
Right.
So this was a free school, state-run school.
It was a private school. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't remember being lonely in elementary school, but secondary school, there were certainly some times that I felt a little bit lonely.
Well, what did you do? I mean, what kind of activities were you involved in? Don't tell me you were drama class and you were a thespian and that's why you couldn't get along with anyone because everyone else was doing sports.
No. It's just I never really fit into a specific group, so I'd just wander around, chat with some friends, wander around a bit, chat with some other friends, but I didn't have a sense of belonging in any specific group.
Wait. And what's your ethnic background?
My grandfather's from Wales.
Yeah. So you're Welsh. Okay.
So I'm quarter Welsh.
Okay.
The rest of the family are from the West Midlands, as far as I know.
Mm-hmm.
My mum's father, who I never met. Oh my goodness! I think he was an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know much about him, honestly. And then my dad's dad, he was a coal miner, and all that side of the family, they did the coal mining.
Even your father?
My father, he had a shop. He worked for a company called Ready Mix Concrete. He worked up and became a manager there. He decided to quit. He bought a small shop, which was, in the UK we call it an off license. Mm-hmm. So he sold wines and spirits. It's a license to sell off the premises. So half of the shop was wine, spirits, beer. The other half of the shop was video rentals, so VHS, and then went into DVD. And he did that for, I think, 28 years, and then
Did you ever help him during that time? How old were you during that time?
I mean, yeah, there was some days. So all of my life, he had the shop.
Oh, all of your life?
All of my life, yes.
All of your life?
Yeah.
And you left England when you were how old?
When I was 21.
So
for all of my time in the UK, yeah.
He had that, so that's all you knew?
I think he retired when I was 27.
Okay.
Yeah, 67, he retired. And then I used to help him going to the cash and carry, we call it, like the wholesale warehouse, and grab some stuff during the holidays. And then occasionally I'd stand behind the counter and take some money. But yeah.
But he didn't really ask you to do these things, or you didn't have to do them.
No, absolutely not.
These are so you were like
he just
didn't
invited.
consider you an employee.
No, absolutely not. It's very occasional. He just invited me along.
So in other words, you didn't get paid. You figured room and board would be enough.
I did, because I could help myself. I could help myself to the ice cream. Okay. Right? And I think I'd get free chocolate bars if I wanted to.
Right, okay.
I got paid. It's probably better than if I got paid.
Right, I got you, because it was unlimited.
Yeah.
Right, it was unlimited.
Yeah.
That's neat. So what kind of sports did you get involved in? During your lonely time, when you said you were lonely in school, were you involved in any sports?
No, actually.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. I used to do swimming when I was a kid, like 6 to 11. 6 times a week. No, 7 times a week, 6 days. 1 to 2 hour sessions. Quite serious, quite boring, but it's all right. It was with friends. I remember being bored towards the end, I should say.
Okay.
Then I did judo for a little bit, just a year. I did golf with my dad. I think
You start. That's all you know.
My dad, he played,
golf.
and he was. There's an A team and a B team in our local club, and Dad was captain of the B team for a few years. So Dad could play. He had a handicap of, I think, 9 was his best.
What did yours become? What was your best?
I didn't get one. I quit before I was old enough, really, to get one. Really, it was the allergies that killed me.
Really?
So, I never really enjoyed the game, and part of that was just the allergies.
The allergies, right? Your eyes, nose running, everything.
It was just a bit miserable, unfortunately.
Wow.
But it's something, I went to the range recently and I could still hit, so I was happy with that. I'm quite keen to have a game here at some point. Then I didn't do anything. Then I got into karate.
No, that's after you got hit over the head.
Yes.
With a bottle. Now, what happened? You didn't have to tell me. Listen, I read it. I've been checking. Come on. So you were 15 years old.
Yeah.
Somebody hit you with a bottle. Do you want to go into what happened? You said somebody hit you with a bottle, but what? They just happened to say, hey, listen, hit him upside the head, or did you do something to someone that made them?
Well, yeah, it's funny, because a friend of mine's dad, he said that to us as well. He didn't actually believe us that we were just attacked for no reason. And I think that hurt my friend pretty hard, Matt, who I was with, because, you know, his dad didn't believe him. But yeah, we came out of the movie theater. We were standing in the street. We're at the bus stop, waiting. There's me, Matt, and Pete, and there were 3 girls, like a group date. We're waiting for the bus to go back. Matt happened to live right near the bus stop, so he didn't need to get the bus, but we're seeing the girls off, right? The 107 bus comes the other way. Now, 107 comes from the King's Standing area, like bad bit of town. The further you go in the city, even worse it gets. That bus stops. It's a double-decker bus. The back upper deck window is kicked open off its hinges. Someone dives out of that upper rear deck onto the floor, like 10 foot or whatever. Okay, right. About 20 other kids pile off. I'm about 15. They're about 15, 16, similar age. They're drinking, probably smoking something as well, I don't know. And they're just kids that, you know, are basically looking for a fight, right? And I said to Matt's standing here with me. I was like, Matt, don't look, do not look.
Right.
Don't be alright. He's looking at me. Do not look around.
Right.
He looks around,
and they said, okay.
Right, and they're like, boy, boom, walk over. Probably wouldn't have made a difference. I don't blame Matt for a second.
I see what you're saying.
Walked over, pushed Matt past me. I'm like this. They swing the bottle, I don't know, a bottle of beer. I block it. So my initial reaction was good. My next reaction was, ow.
I got you.
So then obviously, you know, swings again. This time I turn and I cop it here. And then the next thing I know, like I've got blood coming down me, and I kind of back off, and I ran. I left my friends. I ran to my friend Matt's house. This is only about 150 meters away. Knocked on the door. His brother answered, and then his mum came to the door. I'm very sorry that his younger brother had to see that. His mum came to the door, saw us bleeding. Where's Matt? Fortunately, Matt was just a little far behind. Girls were totally fine. They left them alone. My friends were fine. Pete also got hit as well. He had some stitches. We're both in the hospital together. Matt was fine, just got punched or something. They just wanted a fight.
I got you, but that got you into karate.
I then told my piano teacher.
Next time, it's going to be a whole different story. They're going to be going home telling the story.
Yeah, I told my piano teacher, and keyboard, I should say, that was popular at the time. He was like, well, you know what, just come down to karate class with me. So I went down to karate class with him. Got into that, exactly. I was like, you know, I don't want this to happen again. Right. And then at a certain point, I was like, well, you know, I'm 6'2", but I weigh nothing. I'm super skinny. I'm skinny now, right? But like,
compared to what you
genetically, yeah, exactly. If I worked out, so I was like, probably the best form of defense is not to get attacked in the first place. Let's not look like such a victim.
That's right, gotcha.
Let's learn how to walk with a little more confidence.
Right.
Let's
just put a little meat on those bones.
Exactly. So that's what got me into the gym.
That's good. That makes sense.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, you've done good for yourself, because now you're a trainer, and if you pull up your shirt, like, his name is Andrew, your friend?
Keith.
Keith said, Lance, be careful, because he might pull up his shirt and just start cleaning off his clothes on all of his abs. I said, no, don't worry about that. We don't go there. So anyway, so you get out of England, but what made you decide to come to Japan? Did you come to Japan first when you left England? Was that your first travel?
No. So I went to University of Birmingham.
Okay.
I had a girlfriend at the time. I didn't want to move too far away from home. But I did move across the other side of the city. It was a totally different side of the city. It was in a nice place called Edgbaston, and it was good. It wasn't like where my high school was, which was in a really rough area of town where you had to watch your back.
Right, gotcha.
I remember I used to walk home from school with a steel angled ruler.
Just in case.
That I'd stuff it up, because we had to wear blazers. I'd stuff it up my sleeve.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Gotcha.
Because we get attacked all the time on the way home. Yeah. Anyway, so fortunately never had to use it.
What years are you talking about? Because you're just 30-something. Is still that kind of rough?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But
this was 70s, right?
No. This was late 90s.
Late 90s, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then late 90s. And then I went to university 2002 to 2005.
Okay.
This is like late 90s, early 2000s.
Right. What did you study in college?
So I did, it was called money banking and finance.
Okay.
And then when I moved over to that side of the city, I realized that people are nice.
You mean some people can be nice?
Yeah. It's like, on average, I was like, there are nice people here. I went to an all-boys school.
Okay.
Right? You didn't let your defenses down.
At all.
You didn't say anything nice. No one said a single nice thing to our parents excluded. No one said a single nice thing to me my entire 7 years at that school. Because you did not. You just chipped each other down.
You just constantly.
Hard.
Right.
Hard.
I got you.
That's just the way it was. So I went to university and I was just applying the same logic. Like, oh, this is how you make friends.
Yeah. And you still had your pipe and you're still ready. Just in case.
This did not work. And
you found out people were really nice.
I found out that people were nice.
They talked to you. And
I joined this chat. People would always talk, but like the way you'd make friends is just to bash them. Just verbally. Right. I joined this charity called AIESEC. AIESEC. So this is an organization around work, helped recent graduates find work in a foreign country, any one of, I think it was 96 countries in their network at the time, for 2 to 18-month work placements, so that they could go abroad and come back and then start their home job, but with a different cultural perspective. So that was set up after the Second World War, I think 1948. Yeah. Really kicked off, I think, in 1953 in Europe. It started just in Europe. The idea being that at that time, if you go to university, you're probably going to be one of the future leaders.
Right.
So they wanted to educate culturally these leaders of tomorrow with the idea that the more people that went and had an experience abroad and realized our mutual humanity, the less likely that shit like that Second World War was going to happen again.
That's right. I got you. So what was the name of the program again?
AIESEC. AIESEC.
What does that stand for? Do you know?
It's French.
Okay, French.
So I can't.
Okay.
Yeah. It's still going.
Okay.
And through that, I met some great people. Really positive crowd, can-doers. I got to go to India for 3 months and work as an internal internship with AIESEC Calcutta. That was 2003.
What was that like? Because this is your first time outside your country, right?
I got to go earlier that year to Sweden for a conference, and then it was a leadership conference because they thought I could run or be part of the leadership team for AIESEC in my second year of university up in Birmingham. And then I did a foreign holiday. We had one foreign holiday as a family, that was Florida, and then I had something to the south.
So you went to the States?
Something to the south of France.
Okay, yeah. Right.
But this is my first real...
Because you had to stay there for a while.
Shock.
Right, you had to stay there for a while. You said how long were you there?
3 months.
3 months, yeah. So you had never stayed anywhere for that long outside. Okay, so you'd always been there. So what was the impression that you're left with? I mean, what hit you first when you got there?
Oh, it was great. So
I can imagine.
I mean,
it was called Century Over.
I love and hate India in equal amounts.
Okay.
Like the bureaucracy, trying to get a train ticket or trying to organize, like really tough. The people, once you're off the tourist trail, wonderful people, right? Beautiful people. So I land. I thought I was landing in a field. Calcutta Airport at that time. Like it's just grass, right? I was like, whoa, where's the terminal, right? I land. I'm greeted by AJ. AJ's like, oh, hey, Andy, really nice to meet you. I'm sorry, Vinay, who you're staying with, is not here yet. He had a car crash on the way. I'm
like, like normal. That happens regularly.
Is he okay? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. He'll be here in like 10 minutes. Which means 20 minutes, 30 minutes, right? I was like, oh, what happened? Like, no, it's fine. So then I realized that is just the norm, and I quickly discover, as I take that car ride into downtown Calcutta, why that is the case. Because, the wing mirrors are either tucked in so that you have a tighter, easier entry through traffic, or they're torn off. And beeping every 100 meters, 10 times every 100 meters. Like, it's wild. I was little bit scared to get out of the car.
I understand. Well, you did a lot better than I did, because when I went on my trip around the world, I stopped in New Delhi, and it was called Bombay at the time. It's Mumbai now, but both airports, and this was in the 70s, I didn't leave the airport. I said, if it's this bad in the airport, and I was all by myself. It was my attempt to go around the world. I said, if this is bad in the airport, I am not going outside. And I didn't. I stayed in the airport till my next flight. Next place, I said, let me try Delhi. Nope. I said, I'm done. Until I get a friend or someone I know who can navigate through here. My senses were up, because I grew up in a neighborhood too, where it's nice if you had a little pipe every now and then, and you'd have a little something just to prepare, because you were always tense, always ready. So I still haven't gone to India with someone. I want to, because I know it's a beautiful place, and I know the people. I have so many beautiful Indian friends. Yeah. But the country wasn't so well. You just
got to remember, when wherever the tourists are, that's where that's where the worst people go.
Because they can easily take stuff here, right? Of course, of course. Yeah. So you need to go off the beaten path.
Yeah, and then you feel wonderful.
Right, then you find out, wow.
Wonderful. I was invited into absolutely everything. Like all the religious ceremonies, family gatherings, wedding. Eventually I went back. I've been back twice since. Like, wonderful.
So you had met some good experiences. Yeah. Right. So after that, is that when you came to Japan after that?
So that was my first summer of uni. We only do 3 years in the UK. The second summer I had an opportunity to go to Croatia to have a work placement in an accounting company. So I did money, banking and finance. I chose money, banking and finance because when you're 17 in the UK, someone gives you a form and they say, right, choose your future. And choose your degree.
I want some money in it. I want to make sure money is involved in it.
Well, I'm studying economics, and that's interesting. Is there an economics degree with a little bit more? And they're like, this. I was like, all right, great, that's it.
Good. That's good.
That's good. But I was also toying with going around Southeast Asia, because my aunt, who I think is 17 years older than my mom.
Father? Oh, your mother's side?
Yeah, my mom's big sister. She had lived in South Africa. She had lived in Singapore and Malaysia, and she told me, some stories, and I was like, oh, that could be interesting. So I walked into a travel agent. I asked about the flights to Croatia. I asked about the flights to Bangkok. Then the guy said, well, how long are you going? I said, 3 months. And he said, well, you could do more than just Thailand. Like, people travel around there. You could do like Laos, Vietnam, or you could go south, or people also do like Malaysia, Singapore, and I was like, oh yeah, Malaysia, Singapore, I've heard of that, yeah. And my aunt went there, let's do that, and he goes, well, you got 3 months, you could also like go into Indonesia and fly out of Jakarta, and I was like, where's that? He shows me a map. I'm like, all right, let's do that. Fly into Bangkok, fly out of Jakarta. I'm like leaving next month. I decided right there and then. I had my money for my insurance payout because I had a little motorbike crash. Fortunately, I was fine. I just duct taped the bike back together.
Wait, by the way, what kind of bike did you ride?
It was a ZX, Kawasaki ZXR 400.
Okay.
A 400cc sports bike.
3-cylinder.
4.
ZX. It was a Kawasaki?
Kawasaki ZXR 400. I think it was a 4. Okay. Yeah. Right. 4-stroke, sorry.
4-stroke. 4-stroke. But sure wasn't 3-cylinder? Kawasaki is famous for a 3-cylinder, but anyway, that's okay. Go on.
But yeah, so I had the money. I was like, decided right there and then, and ended up just traveling around there. And then it was in Bali. I did a book swap in a hostel because back then, like, people weren't on their Instagrams, right? You were reading books in the hostels if you weren't drinking, right? So or on your long train ride over to Jakarta, right? So I did a book swap with this guy. It was called Angry White Pajamas by a guy called Robert Twigger. And it was about this English guy who went to University of Oxford, studied poetry, I believe. He came to Tokyo, was teaching English. And he got into Aikido. And I don't know where in Tokyo this was. I was reading this in like 2004. I didn't know anything, right? But bear in mind, this is 2 weeks before I'm back at university, doing my final year of university, and the pressure is on to find a job for when I graduate, right? So this is the time where you've got to apply for something. You've got to really decide your future now, right? So I'm reading this book, and this guy, he does Aikido, And at this dojo, it's a very serious dojo, in the corner there's always these battered, smelling, dirty, blood-stained group of guys who are never really talking to anyone, right? And he finds out they're on something called the course. It's a mix of Japanese and foreigners. And this course is a course that you need to pass. You need to be tough enough to pass if you want to be eligible to go to the next round of interviews to become a riot cop in Tokyo. So you know the riot police outside of here, right? You see them every day, right? They are tough as hell.
Oh, I know that.
They have to survive this 12 to 18 month course. Anyway, as a foreigner, you could do it if you wanted. You don't get to go to the next stage of the interview.
But you can
go
just
do the course just for shits and giggles.
No, just so they have someone to beat up and throw around. So sure, you want to come in here? Come on.
So I read this. They train like 6 hours a day. You know.
You went in there. You went it. Wait.
No, I read the book.
Okay.
So I put ideas in my head. Bear in mind, I'm doing karate in the UK as well.
Right.
So now I'm like, how about I go to Japan, continue my karate studies, do that for a year.
Mm-hmm.
So then I Googled jobs in Japan with like.
Now you're in Jakarta while you're doing this.
I'm now back at home.
Back at home. Okay, you finished.
All of my course mates are applying for jobs. I'm like, oh my goodness, I've got to apply. Right. I'm going through my PricewaterhouseCoopers online application. I'm struggling to fake it through the first page with my enthusiasm here. Like I cannot even fake why I want this job. It's like I just know I should get this job. I know it's what I'm supposed to do. Like I have to go here or Ernst & Young or Arthur Anderson or
I got you.
But
your heart was not there.
Not there. So I'm like.
Well, did you ever think about working with your dad and saying, Dad, let me take it over? At least something you'd be controlling.
Dad wasn't keen for that.
He didn't want to give it up.
No, he didn't want me to have the same life that he had.
That wasn't. Well, he didn't enjoy his life?
Oh, he did. He wanted me to go and explore and do different things, do something, I guess, better.
Oh, he wanted to get you out of the house?
Was he saying? No. Like, bear in mind, his job, it was in a shop.
Okay.
Right? So he's going and buying goods, bringing them in. It wasn't like a big business.
I understand.
It was just a small shop. And I think he could see that there wasn't going to be a very good future in that industry.
I understand.
And he wanted me to go do something. I went to university. He didn't even finish school. Okay. And I think he wanted to push me to go and explore.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's not a conversation that we had, except once I remember him saying, no, you're not going to do this. Because when I was a kid, I used to answer, what are you going to do when you grow up? I'm going to take over my dad's business. Yeah.
Right. But he didn't want you. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I just applied for. I Googled. I found that you could teach English. I Googled further what teaching jobs hire in the UK. Nova, Eon. I applied for both. Nova came back with the first interview. Went down to London, did the interview, got the offer. Mm. I'm like, oh my goodness, I've been selected. I thought it was special. And then I left September the next year.
Well, did they pay for all of it? Did they pay for all of it?
Paid for the flight.
You had to pay for your own flight? Or
no, they paid for the flight.
Paid for the flight?
Yeah.
They have a place for you when you got here?
They put me in an apartment in Namba in Osaka.
I
write down Osaka because...
how big was the apartment? Was it six tatami?
I mean, my room was smaller than this room here. So
but did you have a place to shower in the room?
Yes.
Or was
it?
Okay.
It was a shared... it was 3 people in there. It was 180,000 yen, and it should have been...
It was shared. It was the size of this room.
No. It was a bigger apartment than that.
Bigger apartment, okay.
I forget exactly how big, but not big.
Okay.
It was a 90,000 yen apartment, I would say, that we were being charged 180,000 yen for. We didn't know we were being ripped off at the time, but then...
And that came out of your salary, of course.
Came out of the salary, yeah. And then I transitioned into teaching at high schools, because that gave me my evenings back, and then I could go and train. Mm-hmm. The karate... Fortunately, the Wado Ryu, which was my style, it's a traditional style of karate, but it's not full contact.
Gotcha, okay, right.
Sundomi. So the dojo was open only on Saturdays, but it was very close to where I lived. And then I was keen for something else. I found out the Aikido headquarters was of the one style where you do randori, like proper fighting. was close, just in Tennoji. So after a year, I started going there every day and just got into Aikido.
But had you already started lifting weights? I mean, to build yourself up? Were you already?
Yeah.
I
didn't really know what I was doing though.
Right, but still, but at that age, your body starts to respond.
Yeah.
Regardless, and your metabolism's still high, so you don't have to worry about carrying any extra fat.
Yeah.
And genetically, you already had that to your advantage anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are your parents pretty well lean and mean? I mean, pretty lean?
Yeah.
You taking good care. Did your father do any kind of sports? Did he like?
Dad was super into football. Soccer, you would call it. Yeah.
Okay, right. We call it soccer. Yeah. But he still loves golfing. Does he still do that?
He can't do golf anymore. Knee and back issue.
Back, yeah, okay. Yeah. Mom, does she do any kind of sports?
No, she used to do all kinds. Aerobics was a big one. Not anymore though.
Okay, right. Okay, so you came here, you're in Osaka, you've gotten to a school now. How did you transition from there to where you are? What happened?
Yeah, so I was teaching at high schools for 6.5 years.
Okay. And you were just teaching English?
Yes.
But you were part of it. Were you brought from outside to do this? So you weren't really part of the faculty?
So I was hired through ECC Junior, who had a contract with the government for the first year. Mm-hmm. Then I got a direct contract with the Osaka Board of Education. So that's great.
Oh, that's good.
That's proper pay now and good holidays. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So some schools considered me part of the faculty, but I still had the foreign teacher benefits because I didn't have the responsibility of having to look after the sports club or any particular form. Mm-hmm. So I just had to make sure my lessons were on point. Good. And my teachers loved me because I said to them, look, I know you're busy. At the start of the year, I know you're busy. I want your guidance, of course, because you have more experience. But I want you to know, like, I've prepared this year of, you've shown me the textbook, I've prepared this year of lessons. I want to go over this with you. And I want you to know that I've got it handled. So your Tuesdays at 9 a.m. and our Thursdays at like 2:25. Right. They're absolutely handled. You don't have to worry about anything. I'm absolutely open to your input, of course. And so they love me. And so because of that, I got lots of flexibility. I got to go home early, or I got to study Japanese any other time.
Yeah. And you took what? How long did you learn Japanese to a proficiency that you feel was fluent?
So I didn't do anything for like 4.5 years, really. And then 1 year I had a bet against that friend Keith that you meet.
Right. That was against Keith? Did he do the same thing?
Well, I told him that I'd read about this Heisig method where people were learning all of the kanji in 3 months. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I was like, whoa. And then I read on forums and it's real. And I was like, okay. So I told him, I was like, man, I think I can do this. And he was like, nah, you can't do it, right? Typical British, right? Nah, you can't do this. So we had a
same
bet,
neighborhood, yeah.
Right? And then he brought it up again in the bar, like that weekend. It's like, hey, hear what Andy reckons he's going to do. So then, like, the bet was on April 1st, which turned out to be April 4th, and because it was January, I would, within those 3 months, I would have learned all of the 2046 Joyo kanji, it was at the time, and I would be able to write 8 out of 10 that were randomly called or specifically chosen. I'd be able to write 8 out of 10 perfectly. If I didn't write them perfectly, I had to buy the whole bar shots. Okay, gotcha. And at that time, my financial that would have been painful. It would have been a bad month.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of motivation. You had a lot of motivation.
A lot of motivation. So I did 23 a day. You're building stories in your mind. Mm-hmm. Then I started watching TV. There's one show, Aibo. I put the Japanese subtitles on. I would choose 23 a day again, new words, but I thought I could use that day in short phrases. I would memorize those using a spaced repetition system. Anki was the flashcard application. Right. Like Japanese front, Japanese back side of the card. So if I forgot something, it would come back the next day. Right. If I got it right, it would come back in 3 days, then in a week, then in a month, right? That kind of system.
That's really good, yeah.
And then by end of August, I picked up my first book. I just went into a bookshop and I looked at the bestseller in the fiction area, and I said to the shop staff, "Okay, I like detective type stuff. What of these is detective?"
They gave you Aibo's
book. So it wasn't an Aibo book. It was a guy called Higashi no Keigo, and he's like a thriller mystery guy. And I was like, okay. So I started reading that, and that was really tough because there was no like smartphone camera application.
Nothing like that.
No.
And there's no hiragana underneath the kanji.
No, only for some of the names.
Some of
the
them.
first
The names are difficult.
Yeah,
even for Japanese.
It was really tough, but I just started reading those books, and because I wanted to find out what happened, it helped me get fast.
Wait. Do you still read Japanese? Do you do it regularly? You stop?
No, I don't. Yeah.
So you think your proficiency has gone down a little bit?
I think it has gone down a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. And
there's no reason to do it now, right?
Yeah.
But wait. So anyway, so you've done that. After you did that, then how'd you get into fitness where you are now? Does that take you to where you are now? You left Osaka. How'd you get to Tokyo?
Yeah. So the Tokyo story is a little bit after, but I was still in Osaka. I was training at a gym. I had broken my wrist. An egg truck was coming down the street. The rear door was open.
Oh.
And it was about to hit my motorbike that I just saved for. Like, this is my dream bike. It was a Honda Fireblade, right? It was 900,000 yet. Like, I was like, oh my goodness, it kind of hits, right? So I was like, right, I'm going to stop this.
Oh, yeah. He was coming at the speed that
it was a refrigerated truck. I didn't know. So it's a very thick door.
Yeah.
Hit my hand, the bike, then me. It was fine. Broke my wrist though. And then that stopped me basically continuing with the Aikido because I couldn't bend it anymore. My left wrist actually.
Yeah.
And but I could still lift. So then I just started lifting more seriously. And I went to a very serious
Was that all
gym.
taken? The guy stopped. Everything was taken care of.
Guy
They handled everything.
Even the shacho, the company president.
They didn't bring the ambulance or anything to get you, did they?
No.
Okay.
But the police came down and measured everything.
It took forever.
The president of the company came down,
to make sure
bowing,
that you didn't.
apologizing.
Right.
I got some money for that actually.
Of course they would. Yeah. They took care of all the medical expenses, everything, and plus gave you money.
Absolutely.
Of anything that you would have been out of.
They absolutely did.
And
then
I'm sorry, money too.
Yes.
Yeah, for the accident ever happening.
Yeah.
Only in Japan.
I prefer a good wrist though.
Yeah, I know, but it's an accident.
It is
in other countries, you would have gotten maybe a spit, or you have to chase the guy and say, did anybody else see him? Did anybody see the guy? Did you get the license plate? But here, it's just a whole different ball game.
Yeah, I'm grateful for that for sure.
It's like when you started going to college and you realize people were nice. There were some nice people, and you come here and like, they can be generous too and non-assuming. And you come here and you go, what? This has to not be real. Have you gone through this, Andy? I want to ask you, when people say that Japan is not real, they say this is not real. Like this society is not real. This is because you're going to have to go back home sometime. Have you heard that before?
Not necessarily
because you're in a bubble.
Because I have to go back, but definitely I'm in a bubble. Bubble was the word that came to mind when you said that. Yes,
bubble.
But they are in their bubble.
Okay.
For them, the bubble is a mirror. The inside of the bubble is a mirror. For us, we can see through because we have the experience of what else is there. I'm painting a broad picture on average for the average person here, right, who has not studied abroad, right, the average Japanese person.
Right, I got you.
So we can see what else is there. So we can see that it's a bubble. But when you're in a bubble with mirrored insides, you don't know you're in that bubble.
I understand what you're saying.
And you're not necessarily unhappy that you're in that bubble, right?
Especially if it's a very civil bubble.
Exactly.
So, okay, so how'd you get here? How'd you end up coming to Tokyo?
So, I should say how I transitioned out of high school into what I do now.
Okay.
So now I have...
You mean from high school? What you're doing?
Sorry, high school. I was teaching in high school.
Oh, teaching in high school. I thought you were taking me all the way back to you being in high school.
No.
Okay. I said, wait just a minute. Okay.
So now I have a business. Technically, it's two companies, but let's think of it as one business. It's two different websites. One's in English, one's in Japanese.
Now you have. You're talking about right now.
Right now.
Okay, right now.
But this is how I transitioned.
Gotcha.
Now we put out really good, high quality articles. That is a catchment. So it's content marketing for book sales and coaching. The coaching is over email, and it is for very serious recreational trainees who want their training program and their nutrition program to be sorted by a coach. For the English language website, I look after that. On my Japanese website, my guys look after that.
Okay.
And the a lot of the Japanese articles now are written by my guys, but previously it used to be translations. And would make money on the Japanese side by translating books.
Gotcha.
And the way I got into that, I was training at a very serious bodybuilding gym in Osaka. Like everybody there competed. It was great. A real rough area town, but great. Old school, like great. But these are not wealthy people. And they are paying through the nose for supplements that they don't need. And I can see this because I can see through the bubble into the world of evidence-based fitness information, whereas they are in this bubble where they can only see this confirmation bias of this supplement is amazing. But I know they're wasting their money. And I want to tell them, but my voice falls on deaf ears, because of course it does. What does this guy know? Everything else that they can find out just confirms that this supplement is amazing, right? So I was like, right, I need to do something about this, because they're getting ripped off. This pissed me off. It pissed me off, right? So, because I went through a phase of spending $200 a month that I didn't have on supplements as well. And then I realized that actually bodybuilding.com, whose business is making money from supplement sales, is not the best source of articles to find out how to train. Funny that, right, Lance? Right?
You mentioned something also about when Joe Rogan says it, and there's another guy, what's his name?
Tim Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss. They give these suggestions as to which you should take and which you should eat, and you believe that's also rubbish. They shouldn't.
Well, the problem with the, say, Joe Rogan, Tim Ferriss podcasts is that they're very popular because they get on outside extreme opinions, but extreme opinion holders, they see themselves as cutting edge. It's very exciting to listen to, but there's not necessarily the evidence base there yet.
Right.
And like 99 times out of 100, there isn't going to be if you look back on past cutting edge things. But everybody thinks they're that 1% exclusive case. So unfortunately, they give a mic to people who shouldn't really have a large audience voice. Unfortunately.
And they have a very strong big base, so it seems if people are following, then it's probably more real than it's not. Because at least I know these 10 people that are doing it.
Exactly.
Even though they continue to stay fat and their health looks like crap, but they're doing what I'm doing, and someday.
Right, exactly.
Someday it'll happen, yeah.
Their job is not to vet people carefully. Their job is to get ears on their podcast.
And something else they also say is that they're just giving you their opinion, which our news media has become. BBC, unfortunately, has gone that route too. You know, and I used to listen to BBC because their casters weren't so important. The news was.
Right.
But now they're giving their opinion, and I don't want to hear your opinion.
Right.
Give me the news
the facts,
and let me decide. But they've stopped that. They've become an entertainment source.
Yeah.
Not interested.
That's where my industry's at, and that's why I think I'll always, well, my job is safe for now, let's say.
So you plan on being in Japan for the near future? Or?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
How long has it been now? How long have you been here?
I've been here 15 years in total. I've been running these websites for 10 years. At the start, the Japanese one was not popular at all. I split it off into its own thing. Wasn't popular at all. But gradually, over time, we've just put out really good articles, and we're just trying to be too good to ignore.
Okay, and you've been able to monetize these, both of them?
So the English language, the English side of it is called rippedbody.com.
Okay.
That has been successful from the start. I was able to transition out of English teaching within 6 months of starting it.
Oh, really?
It was silly. Like I started writing simplified versions of this one guy's nutrition methods. It was intermittent fasting, the lean gain style of that at the time, which was getting popular back then. It's now super popular.
What year was
This is 2011.
Because I've just started 2 years ago, intermittent fasting. Only thing that's ever worked for me.
It has.
That's the only thing that works. But you have to do it, and I have an app that works with it. 16 hours, or sometimes I do 18. I've even done 24. But sticking to it, it doesn't matter. For me, it didn't matter what I ate, as long as I kept to my fast.
Yep.
And I did. The only thing I would do sometimes is drink black coffee, nothing in it.
Yep.
And If I drank alcohol, it would be like it would be spirits, like whiskey or vodka, but no sweet drinks, no wine, nothing like that. Because I drink for the effect, not for the taste so much.
Right.
So if I had whiskey, and let's say 4 ounces of whiskey, no problem, and I still went, and it started to look good, and it works.
You know what that is? That is calorie control. And that's all that intermittent fasting is. There's no magic fat burning in there. It's just calorie control. So
it doesn't matter what you're eating, but if you want to make sure that your body functions right, from my understanding, then you decide what you're eating.
Yes.
Because it doesn't matter what you're eating if you want to get lean.
Yeah.
But if you want to be healthy,
yeah,
then you want to make sure you eat certain foods, and that will make sure you're putting the right kind of fuel in this vehicle that you're taking around.
Exactly.
Am I right?
Exactly. Now, I work with people who like to complicate that to the max, but which is fair. Like some people, they're very into it, and that's what I cater to. But it doesn't have to be complicated. And so, to anyone listening, I just want to say, look, if you skip breakfast and then only have a lunch and dinner, that can be a very effective way for some people to have calorie control. But I started writing about that. It was 16.8. It was started by a guy called Martin Burke, and it saddens me that you hadn't heard that name because a lot of people, unfortunately, they don't give credit or they don't even know where it came from. I was writing specifically saying, this is Martin Burke's ideas. I was writing simplified versions of that. And I had a guy called Phil. He's from San Francisco. God bless the people in the Bay Area. And he was in the comments and he said, Andy, how much is your online coaching? And I was like, no.
And you had never thought about it.
Nah,
you were just writing these articles.
I was writing these articles. And I was like,
isn't that funny how that happens?
See, I was thinking I was going to be a high-end, also English-speaking personal trainer in Osaka, one-to-one. That would be my transition. And that would be it. It would be in person. And my website would be my online business card. And I'd talk about things there. But it would also help out my friends in the gym who were getting ripped off.
Right.
So I'd write. I was writing these simplified versions of Martin's writing, which was a little bit difficult to get into. Phil, how much is your coach? Phil, oh, may I send you an email? It's like, yeah, absolutely. Send him an email. It's like, so Phil, my 12-week package is $899.
You just took a chance.
I went for it. Took a chance. Because bear in mind, I've been around people who are doing this kind of stuff.
But you never thought you could do it. You never thought you got it.
And he's like, yeah, sign me up. Like, send me a payment link. And I'm like, how to take money in Japan. But it's like, PayPal.
Beautiful.
PayPal, so did that. And then all of a sudden, like, I start talking about how I'm working with Phil. Now, other people want me. And then, so this is like August. So I had to start the website in June. It's August. Like, by September, I'm earning double my English teaching salary. By October, I'm earning 4x my English teaching salary. November, there was a slight dip on that. December, up again. January, like outrageous. And I've now got a problem because my visa is now in jeopardy because you can have you can have a part-time job as long as it's low money, lower than your salary, kind of unofficially. You can have a part-time job as long as the income from that is less than your regular work salary. But this just took off. So now I've got to now start my own company and then go and beg the visa people at immigration and say, look, this has gone a little bit better than I thought, but I have a real business here. Please let me transition over to a business investor manager visa. And that worked out. I was able to do that. I finished my contract at the school. So I quit teaching English, went full-time into that.
And you're good. So now you're good.
I never looked back. Yeah.
Now you're good. That's fantastic.
But it's funny how that.
Isn't that nice? So you got $800.
Yeah.
Is that how much it was?
$899, I think it was, or $790.
And you kept it at that amount. And how big of a course would they get for that?
So 12 weeks. It used to be check-in via email at any time with me. I quickly realized that if I'm answering at any time, and they're messaging me anytime, it's no good for me and it's no good for them. Because they're firing off emails without necessarily reading the materials that I've already sent them through and thinking about it. So that doesn't help lead to their independence. And also for me, I'm kind of trapped into this hamster wheel of always trying to respond quickly.
Always, yeah.
So what I did was I transitioned it to being, okay, you check in now. You check in every 2 weeks on a Saturday. I will look at your update on a Monday. This way, wherever you are in the world, a lot of my customers, they're in America, right? So wherever you are in the world, whatever your time zone, whatever my time zone, I will always be able to respond to you on Monday because the time zones will never clash. We've got a day difference, right? So then they're checking in a very specific format. I've got the bullet point questions I want them to answer, along with a spreadsheet that's very structured with their body measurements and their weight and like their ratings of hunger, fatigue. Right. Yeah, it's all in there, along with their training. Send that over, any concerns they've got, and then I'll respond in email. And now I do a little video along with the email for clients who pay a little extra. And then they will ask, maybe they'll come back and maybe ask any question, like I'll give my recommendations, the once every 2 week recommendations. I'll come back with any questions on Tuesday morning, I'll then answer that, right? And then maybe on Wednesday, I will have some more follow-up questions. So my work week is loaded for Monday, super busy with clients, and then goes down, down, down. So that gives me space then for creation. So writing blog posts or working on books, another book, or updating a book. Or so I've done 10 now, but 4 different books, but 10 versions in total. Or working on, now I have to do some stuff for Instagram I try to do.
You get to do some stuff.
I get to do some stuff.
That's right. You sure do.
Yeah. And that's how I structured it. But I found that by purposefully having a delay from when, everyone knows this, that's worked in long enough in email, which means everyone knows this.
Right.
The faster you respond, the faster your response comes back, and the sloppier the answers that come back, or the questions that come back. So even if I get an email and I see it now, I'll respond right now, but I will set it to send tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. so that then they're left to think and ponder, and everyone's happier. And smartphones are banned.
Yeah.
You can't email me from your phone. You have to
Laptop.
promise to email me from your computer. And if during the application process, which is kind of a bit of a gauntlet that I've set down, like my coaching page does not read like a hi.
I know. It's really good. It's good. So it's very simple. It's very plain, but only the information that's needed.
I think the difference for me is that I'm sending them because communication frequency is low, the volume, the density, the information density in there is very high. I do it in bullet points normally, but it's good stuff, but there's a lot. So if it's on your phone, it's tough to refer back to. So I make them do it from the computer. But it works well.
It does.
And I tell you this, for every one person that's upset, what do you mean? So I had a guy yesterday, I politely declined him for coaching. In the application process, I say, look, you can't email me from your smartphone. He said, yes, he agreed to that. Then I sent him the application form. Then he said, hey, I'm on a 3-month sabbatical in Europe. I'm traveling around. I've sold my company for $780 million. I Googled it. He did. And I'm perfectly capable of working from my phone. I understand you might have problems with other people. It's basically, I'm the exception to the rule. Right.
And I want you to take me because of how much my company made.
I was like, nah.
My company, right.
But get back to me in 3 months. Because right now, you need to go and taste all those delicious pastries that they got in France.
What do you
need to go and eat the pizza in Italy. I don't know. I haven't seen his email yet. Because I wrote that yesterday, right? It doesn't matter what he said.
That's right.
I'm the boss.
There you go.
Right.
Thank you. Talk to me.
Now, if he doesn't if that's not for him, that's great. But I tell you, for every one person like that, I've got 10 people who read that on the coaching page. They see that, the no smartphone email policy, and they see how serious I am with the other things and how serious I take my work, and they're like, yes, this guy, because he's not just trying for anyone.
No, he doesn't want it. He knows who he wants. Yeah. I like your comment, and all of you, please make sure you see Andy's comment on the Facebook page it's on YouTube, why he won't work with women. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to give you the spoilers, but it's worth you listening to. It's well done.
They immediately hate me now.
That was really good. No, it's really good.
We can link to it in your podcast.
I sure can. Yeah, I sure can. I sure can. What would you like to end with? We're going to end this now because I know we're going to be doing this again as we continue, because I think I have a feeling we're going to be doing some things together.
Yeah, if you see me in the club, please feel free to have a chat. That's it.
That's what you're going to end with?
Yeah.
All right. What about the people that aren't here? And this might go further than just the club members. See in the club. Some people don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we're sitting in the Tokyo American Club right now. That's how I know lands.
That's right.
What would I end with? Good things have come when I've surrounded myself with people who are doing inspiring things to me because they make me believe in myself. And so a tip that I would have had for my younger self was to put myself in those positions earlier on. I think I did a fairly good job of that, but to put myself in that position where I'm around these inspiring people like yourself and what you've done earlier on, so that then I believe in myself more and I push and try to do. And that can be, you could join a place like TAC, where everybody's like CEO or they've got their own companies or they're on the board of some big company. Right? It's like, whoa, it's a little bit scary. But I just know, oh, this is Lance from the gym, right? I'm not doing business here. It's just they're friendly. They're people. I get to see that these are just people. They're not scary. And then I start believing in myself. So that's one thing I would do. I think there's a tremendous value in that.
Thank you so much.
But I'll say, sorry,
Okay.
for those people, sorry, I forgot to say, for those people that they don't have a club they can join, they can listen to podcasts of great minds
so
that inspire them. You can
so
fill
true.
your head each day. Let's say you feel like you don't have time. Put a waterproof speaker in the shower. Do it while you're cooking, right? Listen while you're cooking. Listen while you're walking. Listen while you're going on the train, right? Instead of swiping through Instagram or Facebook, put this good information in your ears. There's anything you could possibly want on podcasts now. You can surround yourself, not physically, but with the voices of these brilliant minds, and that will help inspire you as well. So that's another thing that I try to do as well.
Words of wisdom. Thank you so much, Andy.
Thank you, Lance.
It's been a pleasure. All of you watching this podcast, remember to press like. Please subscribe, because as you subscribe, then it allows us to continue to do more and more and more. But even if you don't subscribe, we're still going to do more. Keep reaching for the stars. Remember, it's all on loan, and you're too blessed to be stressed.